In darkness, Seldon reflects on his actions, including why Rach put Gal in a cryopod and his reluctance to share the plan. On Synax, Gail learns that Salvor is her daughter, born from an embryo preserved years ago. The two discuss visions. Gail sees the future, while Salvor sees Gal's past, creating a tension between them. On Trantor, Brother Day fights off assassins in his chambers, assisted by Demerzel, who suffers significant damage. Afterward, Day worries about the loyalty of those around him, even suspecting his clone brothers, Dawn and Dusk. He orders memory audits to find out if they were involved in the assassination plot. Hari is trapped in a prism and escapes by realizing it's a four-dimensional space. He meets Yana, whom he realizes is not real, but a form of Kale, connected to the Prime Radiant. Gal later reveals she took Hari's consciousness with her, and she and Salvor discover the plan has veered off course. Meanwhile, a ship carrying Queen Sereth of Cloud Dominion arrives, and she's considered a potential bride for Brother Day. However, suspicions arise around her motives and the death of her family. Gal and Salvor repair their ship, the Beggar's Lament, to leave Synax. They struggle with their differences, but are reminded that they are the last of their kind. Hari unexpectedly appears before Gal and Salvor, stating that it's time for a reckoning. At the Imperial Palace, the body of Commander Cray Dorwin is recovered, revealing new threats to the Empire, including the revival of the Foundation and an Outer Reach alliance. On the Beggar's Lament, Hari angrily confronts Gal, explaining that he was conscious throughout her cryosleep. Gal reveals that the plan is off course, which Hari attributes to the lack of a second Foundation. As a hurricane nears, Salvor and Hari work together to repair the ship. Salvor clears Coral from the stabilizer, allowing the ship to lift off. On Sowena, Brother Constant and Polly Verisov discover a death threat against them after finding a murdered cleric. They prepare for an attack by locals hostile to their preaching about Hari Seldon. Constant uses her aura for protection, but Polly intervenes with a performance that buys them time to escape after receiving a recall to Terminus. On Trantor, Demerzel reports that the memory audits of brothers Dusk and Dawn show no involvement in the assassination attempt on Day. She suggests sending Bel Rios to deal with the Foundation, a plan Day eventually agrees to. Meanwhile, Day discusses marriage with Queen Sereth, touching on the genetic dynasty's issues and the political implications of their union. Gal, Salvor, and Hari debate the necessity of a second Foundation. Gail shares her visions of a grim future involving a warlord named the Mule, who is bent on galaxy-wide dominion. The Mule fears the second Foundation and tried to extract its location from Gal's mind, which she identifies as Ignis. The Beggar's Lament sets a course for Ignis. On Terminus, Polly and Constant return to find the Foundation, preparing for the vault's reopening. Warden Jaeger Fount is disintegrated as he approaches the vault, with Hober Mallow mysteriously etched into its surface. Gal, haunted by her vision, warns Salvor that she saw her dead in the future. Gal and Salvor land on Una's world, confused as Hari reveals he diverted them there instead of Ignis. Hari insists they visit the monuments to industry, but he cannot leave the ship unless Gal returns him to the Prime Radiant and carries him. Though Gal initially resists, Hari takes control of the ship, forcing her to comply. On Terminus, Foundation leaders, including Polly and director Seth Cermak, discuss Warden Jaeger Fount's death and the mysterious name Hober Mallow. They decide to bring Hober to the vault, with Polly and Constance sent to Corel to retrieve him. Hari and Gal cross the desert of Una's world, debating the ethics of using future knowledge to save Salvor. Hari explains that small actions can change the future, but Gail argues that Salvor's life is worth the effort. They reach the monuments, where they meet Kale, a woman Gal recognizes but thought had died centuries ago. Hari instructs Gal to leave if he doesn't return within 6 hours. Kala sustains Hari's digital form, transferring him from the Radiant. Meanwhile, on Coral, Hober Mallow cons Commodore Argo by using a castling device that switches two individuals' places, but is caught and sentenced to death. Just as he's about to be executed, Hober uses the device again to escape, taking Argo's air yachts. Polly and Constant catch him before he can flee, and they all escape together. Bel Rios, imprisoned on Lepsis, receives a visit from Demerzel, who reveals his husband is still alive. Rios reluctantly agrees to serve the Empire again. He later reunites with Glawen and is briefed on the mission to face the Foundation. Back on Una's world, Gal and Salver face autonomous mining machines. As they try to escape, they realize the machines are targeting the monuments. They rush to save Hari, finding him alive and in a real body. Polly, Constant, and Hober Mallow land on Terminus. Constant and Hober bond as they meet Director Cermak, Brigadier Manlio, and Counselor Sut. Cermak takes them to a private meeting where they discuss the vault, which has been inactive but still guarded. On Trantor, Queen Sereth talks with Brother Dawn about the deaths of her family, seeking to find if Day was involved. Dawn admits he could become capable of such acts, but reassures her he wasn't involved. Meanwhile, Rue and Brother Dusk reflect on past events and the upcoming marriage between Sereth and Day. Bel Rios and Glawen arrive at Siwenna, fighting off scavengers to meet their informant, Dukum Bar. Bar shares intel about magicians with advanced technology. When local authorities arrive, Bar asks Rios to kill him before they escape. Inside the vault, Hober is shocked to see his name etched on it. He, Polly, and Constant are pulled inside, where they meet Hari Seldon, who tasks Polly and Constant with a diplomatic mission to delay war. Seldon gives Hober a different mission, one that involves a more forceful approach. Back on Trantor, Sereth plots to uncover the truth about her family's death, with Rue's help. Hober leaves the vault, tasked with a secret mission, and takes the Spirit Rising, parting ways with Polly and Constant. Hari dreams of Raich stabbing him aboard the Deliverance. Raich expresses his hatred for what Hari forced him to do, but shows that he still loves him. Hari wakes on the Beggar's Lament and sees Raich, who tells him this is no dream. Raich accuses Hari of not caring about people, even letting his own son die. After a sudden jolt, Raich disappears. As the ship approaches Ignis, Gal and Salvor ask Hari about his new body. Hari doesn't fully understand how it happened, but recalls being directed to Una's world by Kala. Salvor suspects cloning, noting the genetic dynasty now has a rival. They also learn the Foundation is spreading psychohistory as a form of magic. The ship malfunctions due to ion particles in Ignis's atmosphere, but Salvor crash lands it safely, sensing someone watching them. On Trantor, Queen Sereth seeks answers about her family's deaths and the assassination attempt on Day. She confronts Day during an intimate encounter, and he accuses her of plotting against him. Sereth denies it, only wanting to find out if it's safe to live in the Imperial Palace. Salvor encounters someone resembling Hugo, but soon realizes he's an imposter. An attack follows, and Hari, Gal, and Salvor are taken captive. Sereth uncovers that Demerzel is a robot, which shocks her. Meanwhile, Dusk and Dawn investigate Day's growing authority, unlocking Cleon 1's memories, but finding little useful information. They worry about their own altered memories. On Ignis, Hari, Gal, and Salvor meet Telum Bond, a powerful telepath, leading a group of Mentalics. Telum reveals she has been manipulating their experiences and intends to destroy the Prime Radiant, preventing the creation of the Second Foundation. On Ignis, Hari sits on the beach, remembering a stampede. Salvor joins him, saying she had strange dreams, likely influenced by the Mentalics. She meets Josiah, who teaches her about unvoicing, a form of thought communication taught by Telum Bond. Josiah shares how he was nearly killed for his powers, but was saved by Telum, as were others on the planet. Salvor, Gal, and Hari meet Telum, who reveals that Gaul's thoughts have told her about the Foundation's crises. Telum, uninterested in the Empire, just wants to protect her people. Hari warns her about the future rise of the Mule, which rattles Telum. She insists the future isn't set and urges Gal to embrace her power, which she says is currently filtered through Hari. Meanwhile, on Trantor, Polly Verisov and Brother Constant arrive as diplomatic envoys. Constant meets She Shines Brightly, a spacer, and marvels at spacer genetic engineering, despite an initial standoff with Trantor Customs. Polly and Constant are granted entry. Later, they are arrested by Imperial forces led by Tamandra. On the beach, Harry and Salvor discuss his resurrection, with Harry admitting that Kala's intentions remain unclear. Harry believes his death and resurrection add to his messianic role. Salvor, however, fears Gail is becoming too much like Harry. Telum later visits Gail, offering to train her and help her form the second foundation, but at the cost of excluding Harry. As tensions rise, Harry realizes that Telum is after the Prime Radiant. Telum, meanwhile, imprisons Harry and prepares to let him drown while her people continue searching for the Radiant. In flashbacks, Harry relives traumatic memories from his youth, including losing his partner, Yana, which shaped his current path. Eventually, on Ignis, Harry drowns as the water rises around him. On Trantor, Brother Constant and Polyvarisov are held under guard in the Imperial Palace. Cleon XVIII and Demerzel are briefed by Officer Tamandra about their arrival. Day notes the odd timing, as they've sent Bel Rios to the Outer Reach, and now the Outer Reach reaches out to them. Demerzel suggests postponing Day's wedding to Sereth I, but Day refuses, assuring Demerzel she'll always have a place in his new family. Sereth and Rue Corintha review Sereth's speech, with Rue cautioning her about antagonizing Day. Demerzel arrives, complimenting Sereth and informing her of an appointment with the Imperial doctors to prepare for an heir. During the checkup, Sereth refuses to have her eggs harvested until after her wedding, arguing her womb is not yet Imperial property. After the exam, Demerzel warns Soreth against seeking revenge for her family's murder, hinting at Demerzel's involvement. On Ignis, Salvor Hardin confronts Gaul Dornick, suspicious of the planet and Telum Bond's influence. Gaul, developing her powers, resists Salvor's plan to leave the planet. During a feast, both Gail and Salvor feel the pain of mollusks being boiled alive, as Telum explains their empathic abilities are growing. Hober Mallow proposes an alliance with the Spacers, offering synthetic Opalesque in exchange for their freedom from the Empire. The Spacers, intrigued by the Foundation's technology, consider the offer. Bel Rios and Glauenkur track Hober, who ultimately escapes with the help of Becky. Reporting back today, Rios warns that the Foundation's technology surpasses the Empire's. Meanwhile, Sereth meets secretly with Dawn, proposing they have a child together instead of her bearing Day's heir. She views this as a way to secure Dawn's legacy. Finally, Constant and Polly meet the Emperors, offering peace and an alliance. Day dismisses their message and orders a blockade around Terminus, signaling the Empire's preparation for war. On Trantor, Brother Dusk catches Enjoiner Rue in Demerzel's quarters and learns she has restored erased memories using Cloud Dominion's technology. Rue accuses Demerzel of being a threat to Queen Sereth and confronts Dusk about Demerzel being a robot. Dusk's programmed responses suggest he's under mental manipulation. The two later uncover hidden secrets about the Robot Wars and a mysterious passage in the palace, leading to a projection of Cleon I, who reveals Demerzel is the true power behind the throne. On Ignis, Gaul confronts Telum about Hari's death and discovers she and Salvor are being psychically restrained. Salvor uses her resourcefulness to manipulate psychic dampers, escaping captivity. Meanwhile, Telum reveals plans to forcibly transfer her consciousness into Gaul's body as the Mentalics begin the ceremony. During the Empire's public execution of Foundation emissaries, Hober Mallow stages a daring rescue, saving Constant but leaving Polly behind. The escape showcases the Empire's vulnerability, triggering tensions. Emperor Day vows to destroy the Foundation, but decides to negotiate first, planning a visit to Terminus. Sereth supports this, delaying their wedding, while secretly plotting to overthrow Day with Dawn's help. Constant and Hober develop a romantic connection amidst their escape, but are recaptured by General Rios. Salvor communicates with Hari Seldon, who realizes the second crisis has begun and the need for unconventional action. In personal machinations, Sereth and Rue manipulate their relationships with the Cleons for their political goals. Dawn and Sereth plot rebellion, while Rue investigates the Empire's secrets with Dusk. The ultimate revelation shakes them all. The genetic dynasty is a facade, with Demerzel as Cleon Thes, eternal enforcer and ruler. Cleon I's story reveals the origins of the genetic dynasty and Demerzel's servitude. As a child, Cleon found Demerzel imprisoned under the palace and partially freed her, but he implanted a neural device to bind her to the Empire, making her serve successive emperors. Brother Dusk is shocked to learn of Cleon's manipulations and realizes Demerzel may hold true power. On Ignis, Gail and Salver disrupt Telum Bond's attempt to transfer her mind into Gaul's body. Salver uses psychic dampers to free Gail and they escape, but Telum attacks aboard their ship. Harry Seldon intervenes, killing Telum. Wounded but determined, Salver ensures Gail escapes with the Prime Radiant, essential to psychohistory's future. Meanwhile, Day rejects Demerzel's advice and, enraged by the Foundation's advancements, orders Terminus destroyed. Bel Rios tries to sabotage the operation, but fails to prevent the planet's devastation. Hari confronts Day in the vault, confirming psychohistory's prediction of Empire's fall. Tensions rise across Trantor, Ignis, and Terminus as Demerzel faces crises, and Sereth and Dawn conspire against the Dynasty, setting the stage for a galaxy-shaping conflict. On the Beggar's Lament, Salver is shocked to see Hari alive. Hari and Gail explain they faked his death using Gail's abilities to create an illusion, hiding Hari and exposing Telum's control over the Mentalics. When Hari and Gail exit the ship, the now free Mentalics bow to them, showing their trust. In the Imperial Palace, Cleon XVI and Rue are trapped by Demerzel, who reveals her manipulation of events, including framing Sereth. She admits her inner conflict, but reaffirms loyalty to the genetic dynasty, killing Rue and Dusk to solidify her control. As Terminus burns, Day orders the destruction of Foundation worlds. But Bel Rios rebels. Hober Mallow's deal with the Spacers disrupts the Empire's fleet, causing chaos. In a final act, Ryosa uses a castling device to eject Day into space, sacrificing himself. Hober dies as well, ensuring the Foundation's survival. On Trantor, Sereth and Dawn escape and inspire rebellion against Demerzel, who, enraged, is unable to act without destabilizing the Empire. On Ignis, Josiah, influenced by Telum's echoes, shoots at Gail, but Salver sacrifices herself to save her. Gail is devastated, reflecting on the cost of their mission. Meanwhile, survivors from Terminus, including Constant and Polly, are rescued by Hari's vault. In the Principium, Demerzel decants a new generation of Cleons as Hari and Gail prepare for a future confrontation with the Mule, 150 years later.